There are moments in life that feel almost frozen in time, a glance that lingers too long, a smile that fades slower than it should. The subtle shift in someone's body that makes your heartbeat pick up speed without warning. These are the quiet signals that speak louder than words, the language of desire, hidden in plain sight. When a woman wants to kiss a man, she often does not say it. Instead, she lets her eyes, her lips, her breath, and her nearness tell the story. It is not about romance written in novels or scripted scenes in movies. It is about psychology, raw, unfiltered human behavior that slips through when someone's guard is lowered. The smile that curls at the corner of her mouth, the silence she does not rush to fill, the way her body leans closer as if pulled by something invisible. But here is the dark side: miss these signs, and the moment dies. Overread them, and you might cross into a line never meant to be crossed. This video will show you how these signs appear, why they are important, and how to recognize them in time. The psychology of desire. When it comes to attraction, the mind always reacts before the body does. A woman who feels the pull of desire rarely blurts it out. Instead, her brain sends small signals through her expressions, gestures, and voice. These signals are not random, they are a survival instinct. Human beings, from the very beginning of history, have used subtle cues to test safety and connection before crossing into something more intimate. Think of it this way: if a woman wants to kiss a man, she is not just deciding in that moment. Her mind has already been working quietly, measuring trust, comfort, and chemistry. Her smile is not only a smile, it is a test to see how you respond. Her laughter is not only about your joke, it is a way to create closeness. The psychology of desire is about these hidden checks. Why so much subtlety? Because risk is involved. A kiss is not only physical, it is emotional exposure. If she makes a move and gets rejected, it stings. If she shows nothing, she stays safe. That is why most women let their body language and micro-expressions speak first. It is a way of asking a silent question: do you feel it too? Science also shows that oxytocin, the bonding hormone, rises in moments of eye contact, shared laughter, or physical closeness. That chemical push creates the urge for touch. A woman's brain begins to connect desire with safety, and then the small signs appear. She may hold your gaze longer than normal, as if trying to draw you in. She may lower her voice or soften her tone. None of this is coincidence, it is biology, shaping behavior. But there is a darker layer. Sometimes these signals are not conscious. She may not even realize she is giving them. That is why a man who understands these signs often feels like he can read minds. In truth, he is simply reading biology at work. Yet, misreading is dangerous. What feels like interest may also be politeness, habit, or even manipulation. That is the fine line where psychology becomes both fascinating and unsettling. Attraction hides in pauses, in silences that feel heavier than words. A woman leaning just slightly closer, her lips parting for a second longer, her smile holding without reason. These are not accidents. They are small pieces of desire slipping through cracks in her control. The real question is, are you able to see them before they vanish? Desire is not loud, it whispers. And the first step in knowing if a woman wants to kiss a man is to understand this: her mind will tell the story long before her lips do. The eyes and the face. If attraction lives in silence, then the eyes are the loudest silent signal of all. When a woman feels drawn to a man, her gaze changes in ways she cannot fully hide. The pupils may widen when she looks at him, a biological reaction linked to excitement. Her eyes may lock onto his a second too long, holding just enough tension to create unspoken meaning. Eye contact is not just vision, it is communication. Think about the difference between casual eye contact and the kind that lingers. If her glance feels charged, if it makes you pause in the middle of your words, that is a sign. Sometimes she will look at your lips when you speak. That shift is small, often just a fraction of a second, but it carries a clear message. Her mind is already picturing the step that comes next. The face also betrays desire in subtle ways. A woman who wants to kiss a man may bite her lower lip without realizing it. She may touch her mouth lightly with her fingers, as though drawing attention to it. Even a soft smile that fades into silence can mean her thoughts are not on the conversation anymore but on the closeness between you. These micro-movements happen fast, often too quick to be faked, which is why they reveal truth even when words do not. There is also a rhythm to how she looks away. A woman avoiding your gaze completely may not be interested, but one who breaks eye contact and quickly returns to it is playing a psychological dance. She tests the tension, creating space, and then pulling you back into her orbit. That push and pull can be a powerful clue. Science explains this through mirror neurons, the brain cells that reflect emotions when we see them in others. If she keeps matching your expressions, smiling when you smile, softening when you soften, it shows her brain is syncing with yours. Synchronization is often the prelude to intimacy. Yet, there is a darker angle. Some women may use these signals intentionally. They may hold your gaze, smile, and draw you in not out of true desire, but as a way to gain attention, control, or even to test how much power they hold. That is why reading eyes and faces requires not just noticing the signs, but also judging the context. Still, one fact remains: the face cannot lie for long. A glance that lingers, lips that part, a smile that feels like it belongs only to you, these are the cracks in the mask. They are the hints that a woman's thoughts have moved past words into something more physical. If you notice them, you are not just watching her, you are reading the silent confession her body has already written. The body speaks louder than words. When words stop carrying the full weight of emotion, the body begins to speak. A woman who wants to kiss a man rarely says it outright. Instead, her movements, her posture, and her closeness start building a silent tension. These signals are not random, they are physical leaks of hidden thoughts. One of the clearest signs is proximity. If she keeps finding reasons to move closer, leaning toward you when she speaks, or sitting just a little too near, it means she is breaking the invisible wall most people keep between themselves and others. Personal space is a powerful boundary, and when she lets you into hers, she is giving permission without words. Touch is another silent messenger. It might be small, a hand brushing against yours, fingers grazing your arm, or a playful push. These gestures are often disguised as casual, but the repetition makes their real meaning clear. If she touches you lightly, waits to see your reaction, and then does it again, it shows she is testing the comfort of closeness. Body orientation also reveals hidden attraction. Notice if she faces you directly, knees and shoulders pointing your way, even when sitting in a group. This alignment shows focus. Her body is choosing you, even when the room is full of distractions. Then there is nervous energy. A woman who wants to kiss a man may fidget with her hair, twist jewelry, or adjust her clothes repeatedly. On the surface, these seem like small, restless habits, but deep inside, they are physical outlets for excitement and tension. The body cannot sit still when the mind is pulled toward desire. Breathing changes, too. If her breaths grow shallow, if she pauses in the middle of speaking as though her words are struggling to keep up with her heartbeat, it shows her body is already preparing for intimacy. The body knows before the mind admits it. But the most telling sign is when she mirrors your movements. If you lean back and she does the same, if you cross your legs and she follows unconsciously, it is a strong indicator of connection. Mirroring happens when the brain aligns with another person, syncing emotions and preparing for closeness. It is nature's way of creating harmony before physical contact. Of course, not all signals are genuine. Some women may lean in, touch, or tease without the intention of a kiss, sometimes as a way to hold attention or keep control. That is why body language should always be read alongside the bigger picture, the eyes, the tone of voice, the setting. One sign alone can mislead, but together they tell the truth. When her body angles toward you, her hand lingers a second too long, and her smile softens as the silence stretches, it becomes hard to mistake the message. The body is not asking anymore, it is confessing. Real-life scenarios that expose hidden desire. The theory of signals only becomes powerful when we see it play out in real life. Human behavior, when stripped of its masks, tells stories that words alone cannot hide. And some of the clearest signs that a woman wants to kiss a man appear not in private conversations, but in everyday situations where the hidden is easier to notice. Take the moment after laughter. Two people are sitting across from each other, laughing at something silly. The laughter fades, but instead of pulling back, she keeps her eyes locked on him. The air changes. Her hand may stay resting close to his, her lips part slightly, and she stops speaking, as if waiting. This pause after joy often reveals more than the joke itself. She is giving him a chance to bridge the silence with closeness. Another scenario is the quiet walk home after spending time together. Street lights hum above, and the world feels slower. If she slows her pace, drags the goodbye, or lingers by the door instead of rushing inside, she is stretching time. These delays are not about hesitation, they are about building the courage for a kiss that words cannot request. In group settings, the signs become even more interesting. A woman who wants a man's kiss will often shift her attention toward him, even when surrounded by others. She might whisper something meant only for him, lean so close that her breath brushes his ear, or find excuses to create moments of two inside the many. These little pockets of intimacy show that her desire is directed, not scattered. Consider also the subtle testing of boundaries. For example, she hands him her phone to show a picture, but instead of letting go quickly, her fingers linger on his. Or she asks for help adjusting something, her necklace, a sleeve, or even a stray strand of hair. On the surface, these are harmless actions. Underneath, they are small rehearsals for touch, each one bringing her closer to what she really wants. One of the most telling real-life cases comes during goodbyes. If a woman hugs a man but doesn't let go right away, if her body presses closer than casual friendship allows, and if she tilts her head slightly in a way that leaves space between their faces, she is silently opening the door. That moment, brief but heavy, carries an invitation stronger than words. These scenarios reveal something unsettling about human psychology. Desire rarely shouts. It whispers in pauses, delays, and touches that pretend to be accidents. Many men miss these moments, dismissing them as nothing. But when you learn to read them, you realize how much truth hides in small gestures. When the laughter lingers too long, when goodbyes stretch into silence, or when her hand refuses to leave yours, the message is no longer hidden. It is standing in plain sight, waiting to be understood, recognizing the signs without losing control. Understanding desire is powerful, but with power comes danger. Many men, once they learn to read signs, fall into obsession. They start scanning every smile, every glance, as if the world is a secret code. But the truth is, not every smile is an invitation, not every touch carries meaning, and not every woman who lingers wants to be kissed. The challenge is not only to recognize signs, but also to stay grounded enough to avoid slipping into paranoia. The first rule is balance. A man who constantly searches for signals begins to look needy, restless, and insecure. That energy alone can kill attraction. Desire thrives on calm presence. If she tilts her head closer, let it be a moment, not a calculation. If she lingers at the door, respond naturally, not with desperation. The goal is not to hunt for a kiss but to notice when the space for it is already there. Second, context matters. A laugh in a crowded room does not mean the same as a pause during an intimate talk. The same gesture can mean friendship in one situation and attraction in another. Men who ignore context risk seeing ghosts where none exist. That is why patience is more powerful than constant analysis. Give time for the truth to reveal itself, because real desire does not hide forever. Third, remember that signals are an opening, not a guarantee. A woman leaning closer does not mean she must be kissed. Consent is not silent, it shows in her comfort, her relaxation, her willingness to remain close. The darkness begins when men twist signals into entitlement, believing they deserve something because they think they saw a sign. That is not psychology, that is blindness. The strongest men are those who see the signs yet do not lose control. They know how to read the tilt of a head, the pause after laughter, or the way a hug lingers, but they also know how to wait. This patience creates safety, and safety creates attraction. When a woman feels that a man can sense her desire but also respect her boundaries, her comfort deepens, and her signals grow clearer. Think of it this way, signals are like shadows on the wall. They point to something real, but they are not the thing itself. The kiss, the intimacy, the truth, it is never found in shadows alone. It is found in timing, respect, and trust. The dark psychology of attraction teaches us that what we want most is often hidden, not because it is weak, but because it is dangerous. A kiss is not just lips meeting, it is trust crossing a threshold. The question is not only whether you can read the signs, but whether you can hold yourself steady enough to act only when the moment is right. In the end, recognizing desire is less about mastering signals and more about mastering yourself. Because the real sign a woman wants to kiss you is not just in her smile, her touch, or her silence, it is in the space she creates for you to step closer without fear.